this is good news from Canada. Canada has just published on their Gazette 2 new immigration pilot program on the 14th of December 2024. These pathways leads to permanent residency, and this new program takes effect from 26th of November 2024. Guys, you want to be one of the first that is going to apply for either of these two pathways that you qualify for. The good part of this pathway is that even if age is not on your side, if you're 40 years and above, you can apply for this program. So guys, you might be wondering, why is Canada going back and forth? Why is it that Canada is trying to tighten our borders and still, opening new pathways for immigrants to come in? The fact remains that there are rural communities in Canada that are clamoring for immigrants. They are in dire need of people that are willing to come into those rural communities, stay, live, and work there permanently. The truth is that a lot of people are moving to cities in Canada, and they've gotten those cities really populated while leaving the rural communities to suffer. And this is one of the reasons why Canada is launching these pathways for rural communities to attract foreign nationals to come and live in these rural communities. If you are one of those that are saying, I've been applying for jobs in Canada and I've not been getting responses, probably you are focusing on jobs in the cities. Let me give you this secret. You need to start applying to jobs in the rural communities. That is how best you can land yourself in Canada come 2025, because looking for jobs in cities is tougher because there are lots of competition. But if you focus on these rural communities where a lot of people, especially those that are already in Canada, do not even want to leave, then you are giving yourself a higher chance of getting this job offer. Take it or not, people are getting job offer. You just need to know how well to play your game. A lot of people do not want to move to these rural communities, and that is how you can get yourself into Canada. Then when you get into Canada, you can just stay in the community for a couple of years, and you can now consider to move to cities after you must have gotten your permanent residency. So that's the secret I'm sharing with you today, guys. You want to keep it with you and start working with it. Now, it is a lot easier to move to rural communities. There are even communities that will allow you to come on an exploratory visit. Yes, they will allow you to come to visit the community. Like I have, talked about two of those communities in my previous videos. You can want to check the channel where I told you about two communities in Canada that are willing to have you come into their communities. That's to show how desperate they are. Before you even get an endorsement letter from them, before you start your application, if you approach them that you want to come for an exploratory visit just to see how the community looks like, they are going to give you the documents you need to get your visa, your visiting visa. So it is easy. If you have the fund and you want to come into any of these communities, they are willing to welcome you to come around, check their community and see if it is okay for you before you begin or continue with your application. This is amazing. So you can see how desperate these communities are. They are very much in need of immigrants, while you can see immigrants targeting only cities, and you are complaining that you are applying for jobs and you are not getting responses. A lot of people are applying, and of course they will prefer those that are already in Canada. So if you want to move to Canada and come 2025, you have to be more strategic and focus more on the rural communities. Enough of these fruitless efforts in 2025. So you want to subscribe to this channel, turn on your bell notification, because on this channel I will be dishing out tips to help you achieve your relocation dream come 2025. If you want to get into Canada faster, target the rural communities, guys. You will thank me later. And the good part of it is that these communities, usually have a job board that they post their jobs, the job openings in their community. So you don't have to stress yourself to go to job bank Indeed and be looking for what is not lost. You go directly to these communities, check their job board. So you need to follow me closely on this channel while I start revealing more of these secrets to you. If you are yet to like this video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, share with your friends and family who are also willing to relocate to Canada. Guys, without wasting much time, let's dive right into this video. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the 2 newly launched pilot programs, the eligibility criteria, and every other thing you need to know to apply for these particular pathways. So you can see this is the gazette that was published on the 14th of December 2024. So these newly launched pilot programs are the Rural Community Immigration Class and the Francophone Community Immigration Class. The Rural Community Immigration Class is replacing the Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot Program. That pilot program ended on the 31st of August 2024, and the government of Canada has deemed it fit to replace it with a very new pilot program just to attract, foreigners to rural communities. This means that, rural communities in Canada are still not getting enough immigrants. So that's why the government has decided to launch a new pilot program to bring in foreign nationals into these rural communities. Guys, you want to take it seriously this time. This new pilot program is going to run for another 5 years. They are going to test this program for 5 years, and if it's successful, they could make it a permanent program or rather replace it with a new one. As it is now, they have not provided the details of the rural communities that would be participating in this newly launched Rural Community Immigration Class. So we are not sure if Canada will still maintain the old designated communities. 12 rural communities were designated for the previous pilot program, which is the RNIP. So we are not sure if they are going to maintain those designated communities, or they are going to be adding to them, or they are going to designate new rural communities. That detail has not been released yet, so we want to stick around so that whenever this list is published, I'm going to bring it up to you. So the major requirement for the Rural Community Immigration Class, you don't need to understand French. It does not have anything to do with the French language. So for the sake of this video, I'll be dwelling more on the Rural Community Immigration Class. So the major requirement is job offer, and once you get the job offer, you would be able to get letter of endorsement from the community, and then you can go ahead to apply for your permanent residency. The amazing part is that all jobs from category tier 0 to 5 is eligible. So whatever sector you are, once you're able to get a job offer from any designated employer from the rural community, you will be able to get your endorsement letter and go ahead to apply for your permanent residence. And the work experience requirement is that you must be working in that occupation for at least 3 years before the date of your application. If you are a nurse, of course, you need license to work as a registered nurse in Canada, because nursing is a regulated occupation. So what you're going to do is that you're going to try to get a job offer as a support worker or care assistant, just to come in first. Then you can be able to get your license, and you can then begin to practice as a registered nurse in Canada. So there's also the international graduate exemption. Everything is on this gazette, so I'm going to attach this gazette to the video description so you can go through the requirements by yourself. If you are an international graduate, so there's an exemption for you. You must have obtained your credential within 18 months before the date you apply for your permanent residence. So if you are there already in Canada and you are an international graduate and you've been trying to get a pathway for permanent residence, look into this, guys. You would be able to get your PR via this pathway. So you have to do your calculation well before applying, guys. So you don't have to school in this community before you can get your job offer and apply for your PRs. But if you happen to school in this community, you are exempted from showing work experience. It is so straightforward, and you don't need to have a relative. Just show your intention to reside in this community. So for most of my subscribers that are outside Canada and you don't even have a relative, so this particular program does not require you to have a relative, so you don't need to bother yourself whether you have relative in Canada or not. It does not have anything to do with this pathway. So all you need to show is that you must show your intention to reside in this community. Just let them know that you are willing to stay in this community. So the proof of fund requirement is also very low. In fact, it is lower than the proof of fund requirement for express entry. So guys, you can see that Canada is just trying to attract, foreigners into this rural community, and they are trying as much as possible to simplify and ease the eligibility criteria for you. So guys, it is, as far as I'm concerned, it is the lowest proof of fund requirement of all immigration pathways in Canada. So the only major requirement is getting a job offer. And guys, if you follow me on this channel, I'm going to show you how to get job offer as soon as they give details about these participating rural communities, and I'll be showing you their job boards, the available vacancies in each of these rural communities that you can quickly send your applications and apply to these jobs. And that is one major secret that a lot of people do not know about, and people are using this secret to migrate, and because a lot of people are not applying to them, so the competition is very minimal for the rural communities. Some of these communities have very low population, so they don't even have a good number of people competing for these jobs. If you're outside Canada, please focus more on these rural communities. So guys, before I go to Francophone community, another requirement is that you need your English language test scores. Guys, if you are willing to migrate to Canada, you have to write your high health. The good part of it is that this particular pathway requires very low score of IELTS, so you don't have to score high in IELTS. They just want to be sure that you can communicate in English. So if you're applying for jobs under tier 0 to 1, you just need CLB 6. CLB 6 is around IELTS band 5, so it is very easy to come by, like I will always say. And if you're applying for jobs under tier 2 under tier category 2 to 3, you need CLB 5, which is about band 4. And if you're applying under the tier category 4 and 5, you only need CLB 4, which is about band 3 of IELTS. So that's for the requirement for the rural community immigration class. And now for the Francophone community immigration class, it's more or less the same, but the difference is that you would look for job offer in Francophone communities like Quebec, those parts of Canada that speaks more of French and little of English. So those are the communities that are targeting people who can communicate in French. So if you are good at it, this is one of the pathways that is also getting a lot of people into Canada. In fact, so if you understand French and you have written your French language test, you can use this Francophone community immigration class. You just need to apply for jobs that are available in those Francophone community, and then you also get your endorsement letter, and then you can go ahead to apply for your permanent residence. And you'll be able to pack your things and move into Canada with your family.